I got a treat for you guys today. I have 21 mistakes guys are making on dating apps. And let me tell you, there's a lot of mistakes. You're probably making at least 5 of these mistakes, probably 10 of these mistakes, honestly. So watch the whole video. Let me know which mistakes you're making. There's 21 of them in this video, and let's get started. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I'll teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, and how to get the girls you want. That's what we're focusing on today with the dating apps. Make sure you click the subscribe button to join us, and also click the bell to get notifications. If you haven't taken the Bulldog quiz, it's up here in the cards. It is just 10 questions, and it will tell you what your Bulldog score is. And if you don't mind, if you like this kind of video and appreciate that I'm giving you 21 mistakes here, smash that like button. It will help with the YouTube algorithm. I'd appreciate it if you get in the habit of that if you're a long-time subscriber, because that will really just help. Just as soon as you watch the video, just click the like, and we can start to actually get this channel growing again. All right, so let's jump in here. I've got a list. All right, I don't have this memorized, but we're gonna briefly talk about each one of these topics. So the first one, and these aren't in any particular order, but this one is probably one of the most important ones, which is number 1: you have bad pictures. Okay, now I know this is kind of generic, but dating apps are primarily focused on pictures. This is just how it is. I'm not going black pill here, guys, but I'm saying that when the only thing that a woman has to go on is your pictures, she's going to select the best, the hottest looking guys. You have to have top-notch pictures, and there's really no excuse for it, right? A lot of you guys have bad pictures. You have very bad selfie pictures. Okay, you haven't gone out and just go to a photographer. Just hire a photographer for you and your friends for a day and just take some pictures with different outfits, goofing off, doing all kinds of stuff. So it shows your dynamic nature, and it'll make you look good. So take some good pictures, high quality pictures. You need to not have bad pictures. Really, really critical. You're not going to get anywhere with bad pictures. That's just bar none. First thing. Second thing, you haven't tested your pictures. Okay. Now, what I'm talking about here is actually checking to see the ratings on these pictures, right? To see how people are rating those pictures. Because here's the thing, almost every single guy that I coach, when I look at their pictures, I know that they're not using the most optimal pictures and they don't have them in the right order. All right. Now, I know this from looking at a lot of guys' pictures and testing the pictures on a site that I'm going to talk about in a second here. And I have a whole process for doing this. I'm actually going to put together this whole process for testing and optimizing your pictures because I've gotten so much request for this. I'm going to put it in the Bulldog Mindset membership. So if you're in the Bulldog Mindset membership, you're going to get this. I'm going to be producing this content. If not, click down below, join right now while you can. And you're going to get access to this. I'm going to show you exactly how I optimize my coaching clients' pictures, how I get them extremely much better results. Usually like 10x the results they're getting, because it is a zero-sum game. It is really a winner's market here. So anyway, optimizing pictures is important. You have to test those pictures. So you need to know which pictures are good and which ones are bad. And you can test this in a variety of ways. One thing that I've been using with my coaching clients is Photo Feeler. Okay, that's a site. You can go test pictures on there. You have to test them. You have to make sure that, because what you think are your best pictures are not. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, even when I tested mine and I was like, oh, which is best? I can tell you that what pictures I thought are the best pictures of me are not. All right, it is. You have to know. So that brings us to the third one, which is you haven't optimized your pictures. So we talked about testing your pictures. Okay, testing them is different. That's like getting the rating value on the pictures, but optimizing them means really simple stuff. Getting a photo editor, like a photo finisher, to remove a couple of blemishes, make your skin a little smoother, increase the lighting, right? Make the lighting a little better shadows, especially if you've got a physique shot, to show shadows and to emphasize the muscles a little bit more. These are all like little things that you can tweak. Now, I'm not talking about heavy photoshopping your photos so that you look like a completely different person or that you're have a false, picture of yourself. I'm talking about stuff that almost every professional photographer that does any kind of editing does. Little tiny kind of things, right? A little bit of airbrushing, maybe. That's what they used to call it. But it's really just tweaking things slightly just to make that picture pop, make your eyes pop a little bit more. Those type of things, right? A good photo editor will know how to do that. A photo finisher, right? So Optimizing your pictures. I've seen guys' profiles where they have a picture that is like, let's say an 8.5, and they optimize it and it goes to a 9. That's a huge difference. All right. So that's huge tip. All right. Most guys don't do that. If you really want to get your pictures the best, you need to take those steps. You need to make sure you have the good pictures, right? You need to make sure that you've tested those pictures so you know which ones are best, and then you've optimized those pictures at the end. All right. And again, if you want the whole package of all of this stuff I'm talking about, make sure you join the Bulldog Mindset membership, because I'm going to put this all together and lay it all out. And then I'm going to show you text, and I'm going to show you how to respond to messages in various situations, and everything that I know about this, that I've learned about this, that's going to give you, it's going to very greatly increase your results. But join the Bulldog Mindset membership if you haven't already. All right. So next, what are we on? 4, you have shirtless selfie mirror pics. I talk to a lot of women as well, as I'm doing some coaching for women, and I end up talking to them about these kind of topics. I'm curious to get the inputs on it. And one of the things that women tell me all the time is that guys that have shirtless selfie mirror pics, that's the worst. Okay. And I've tested them as far as rating. Those rate the worst as well. There's a lot of things wrong with it. The biggest thing that it's sending is the signal that you're vain and you don't have friends. Okay. Because even if you have a really good physique, okay, even if you have a really great physique, the shirtless selfie mirror pic says, I care so much about my own physique, and I'm so vain, and I don't have anyone to take the picture for me. Okay, I have to take it in the mirror. It sends a whole bunch of bad signals. There's probably even more that it sends, right? There's nothing wrong with having a shirtless picture. You should, if you have a good physique. Absolutely. At the beach, after a run, playing beach volleyball, in some context where it makes sense, on a bike, where you're riding the bike, where someone else is taking the picture. That's the key. Okay. We're going to keep on moving on here. So what are we at? Number 5 here. Your bio doesn't leave any mystery. Some of you guys have put your whole life story in your bio. You want to tell about what a nice guy you are and what things you're into. No. You need to be a man of mystery. I'm not saying that you can't have anything in your bio, but I also have a lot of my coaching clients I've tested having nothing in their bio. And nothing in their bio beats 90% of bios. I bet you didn't guess that one. That's because a lot of the bios suck. And so unless you have a really good tested bio that you've written, and it's really hard to test a bio because the pictures are what's going to matter. So the bio is such a small part of it. It's almost better to have no bio, because you're going to get potentially eliminated based on a bio, but you're never going to get selected based on a bio. I'll say that again. You're going to get potentially eliminated based on a bio, but you're never going to get selected on a bio. Very rarely, right? A girl's never going to be like, oh, this guy's ugly, but I love his bio. No, it's not going to happen, right? It's more likely that a girl will be like, oh, this guy's really hot. Oh, he's a blank supporter. Oh, he believes in this. Oh, he likes cats, not dogs. He likes dogs, not cats. Whatever it is, that's you don't want to select yourself out of the pool. All right. So don't try to get super clever. You can put a little bit of stuff in your bio, but just leave some mystery in there. All right. Now, next one, 6. Okay. You are talking too much when you're chatting. You're sending messages back and forth, and you're becoming a pen pal, right? Girls don't want a pen pal on a dating app. In fact, girls have a lot of different reasons why they're on dating apps. All right. So a large percentage of them are just looking for something like a guy, like a friends with benefit type of, I don't want to say that. They're looking for an interaction, an immediate interaction, right? Why are they on the dating app? A lot of times it's because they're horny. They're looking for a guy. That's the truth, because they're on it at that point. Now it's a very broad generalization. That's not most, okay? I mean, maybe it may be most, but it's a large percentage. But then a large percentage are looking for maybe just a cool guy to hang out with, just some friends to date, right? And some would be looking for longer term things, a guy to get married to, but typically those things are not happening as much on dating apps, right? It's just, there's too much temptation there. So you sort of have to realize that if you're messaging an attractive girl, she's got a lot of guys, right, that are messaging her. Every time that you message her, right, and you have to go back and forth, there might be 15 other guys or 20 other guys that are messaging her. So your message is dropping down. So unless she's really like into you or doesn't have very many matches yet or whatever it is, which is unlikely that she wouldn't have very many matches, like she has to like find your message again. Okay. So you want to stop the back and forth. You have to have some back and forth, but the more, it's like sales, right? The more steps in the funnel, the less likely that you're going to get the sale, right? Because there's more places for people to fall off. So the more messages you give back and forth, the more likely she's going to fall off and you're never going to hear from her again. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to message, but not crazy amount. Don't try and be friends and pen pals and stuff. And women complain all the time. You know, if you saw that Tommy Lauren rant, I did a video on that, by the way. She talked about the idea that like, guys, just set something up, right? And she was right, because a lot of girls do complain about guys not just ask her out for a date. Go get a phone number or something, like make something happen. Don't just chat back and forth. She doesn't really want a pen pal, and it's just not the environment to do it. Don't do it over text. Don't do it over that. Like when you're on a dating app, your objective should be make a little bit of small talk and make sure that, you know, she's comfortable enough to give her her number to you, and then you go from there. Then you make a date. All right. That's what you're doing. You're not playing around and just spending too much time going back and forth in the messages. Okay. So a lot of you guys are just doing too much of that. All right. Now, number 7 mistake that you're making is you're afraid to compliment girls. Now, this one's a weird one. It's really weird that I have to say this, but I have to say it because a lot of you guys, you just have it so baked in your damn head that you can never give a girl validation. Even on a dating app where the girl messages you first and says, "Hey, hottie," or something like that, you're trying to be all cold and hardcore instead of just, if a girl gives you a compliment about your looks, especially, give her one back. Okay. She's put herself in a vulnerable position, put herself out there. It's not like you're simping if you give her some validation at that point. You have to give validation to people. All right. It has to be where it comes from. If you're doing it in a sense to like get someone to like you or because you want to win their approval, that's simping, as much as I hate the word simping. All right. But if you're doing it because you don't care and you're just saying things that are nice to people because you mean them, it's not simping. Okay. It's not simping. You're not trying to get anything. So, and that comes across. It comes across even just in a short message and how you do it. And trust me, it comes across. All right. So don't be afraid to compliment girl. All right. If you can even start off by complimenting a girl. So many of guys, I'm like, just say, "Hey, you're cute, but you look like trouble." It's simple, right? Then you're not just fawning over her. You're saying, "No, there's something else." You're adding some fun to it. You're not just where she's in an awkward position of you just lavishing praise on her. And she's like, "Oh yes, thank you. I know I'm so beautiful. It's awesome." Okay. So don't be afraid to compliment a girl, especially if you're in an interaction with her over the messaging on the app, and then she says something smart or intelligent or something, and you can reward her by saying, "Yeah, that's awesome. I like that." Or you ask her a question, you qualify her, ask her something to qualify herself, that you're evaluating her to see if it's a good match. You're not just automatically saying, "Okay, she's hot, so she's good enough." And then she gives you a positive answer. Give her back a compliment. This will go a long way. Trust me on this. All right. Number 8, you are complimenting girls too much. Okay. So some of you guys, you're just afraid to give any validation. You're afraid to compliment girls at all. But then a lot of you guys are also you're just like messaging girls on dating apps and you're like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Do not say, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Okay. For the most part. Right? Unless you're going to say something else that's going to kind of negate that slightly or make it more playful. Or, if you say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I think I've just fallen in love with you, but I'm going to have to break up with you." Something like that. Then it's like weird. What does that mean? Right? Then it's not like completely you just fawning over her. Okay. So don't just send a bunch of things and just say, "Oh, I love your pictures," or "I love this," whatever. Don't just do that. Okay. So you don't want to just compliment too much. Instead, if you have something genuine to say, or if you can say it in a playful way to indicate some kind of interest, cute is a good word. Okay. It's not beautiful. It's not sexy. It's not lovely. It's not pretty. It's cute. Cute is sort of a nice one to use, right? You can, and cute is kind of playful. You're cute, but you look like trouble. Simple. All right. Now, number 9 is you aren't asking for the number. This seems pretty straightforward, but you need to ask for the number. Like your goal when you're on a dating app, guys, you should be asking for a phone number because you need to get her off the app so that you're messaging her in her text. Because let me tell you what happens on the app, on a dating app, it's going to just scroll, right? Girls are going to get like tons of messages from guys. And so she's not going to see your message. Okay. So you get the phone number so you can get into her text, and then you're setting up a date or a meetup or something like that immediately. So ask for the phone number very quickly, within like 2 or 3 back and forths for most of you guys. Number 10, you aren't screening properly. Okay, what do I mean by this? I mean on a couple of levels, right? First of all, if you're looking at pictures and they're all headshots, like from the neck up, what does that mean? Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that the girl is overweight, but it probably does. Okay, that's a flag there, right? So you need to screen. You need to say, if it's all just heads up pictures, then you need to figure out somebody. Oh, do you have an Instagram? Can I check that out, or something like that? Or ask her to send a picture. Or, you know, if she's seeming a little bit weird or not sure, screen her out. See, I mean, you can have some crazy people. Not just guys are crazy psychos. Okay, girls are crazy psychos as well. In fact, there's a lot of crazy psycho girls. So if you suspect she's saying some weird stuff, get on a FaceTime call with her. Screen her out before you invite her somewhere and see her in public, and you have an incident. All right, there's a lot of crazies out there, so you need to be screening, and you should be screening anyway. You should be screening also just on personality, on other attributes, right? Don't just say, oh, well, this girl's hot, okay? Because that's not going to go well for you. You want to create more value, for perceived value in yourself by being a person who actually screens, who has discretion, who cares whether or not a girl is more than just looking good. All right. And again, like you're also going to be screening on the looks, because you want to make sure that she is what you think she is. All right. Number 11 is you're swiping too much. Okay, so a lot of the guys that I work with, what they end up doing is they're just swipe. They get all these matches, like they're just trying to get as many matches as they can. And then they're overwhelmed and they've burned out the entire geographic area that they're in. Okay, if you get, let's say that you swiped and got 50 matches, what are you going to do with 50? Okay, do you have time to, you're not even going to be able to communicate to all those girls. And then a bunch of them you're never going to get back to, and then it's going to be gone. Like, it's a waste, because you're not going to talk to them like a month later. So don't swipe like crazy. You only need to have enough in your queue that, let's say you're trying to get a date for Friday night. Okay, what do you need? Like maybe 7 or 8, maybe 10 girls max that you match with, and then you find one of them that you can go on a date with. You don't need 50, all right? Number 12 is you aren't swiping enough. Some of you guys, you think that just because you're not matching on every other time that you swipe, that something's wrong or broken with the app. Maybe it's going to take you a lot. You need to have enough in your queue so that not everything's going to work out. Just because you got a match, right? And a lot of the guys that I was surprised by this, but a lot of the guys I've been working with, they keep on telling me, oh, well, I matched with her. I don't understand why she didn't respond. Like that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That's like the first level here, right? So just because you match doesn't mean that she's actually interested in you. Even she may have even just swiped by accident, or she may have swiped on like a whole bunch of guys, and you're not the top choice. That's just how it is. So make sure you swipe enough so that you're going to have enough depth. All right. Number 13 is that you're not following up. Another kind of crazy thing. So again, we talked about the messages scrolling through the inbox for a lot of girls, especially attractive women. You need to double text and sometimes triple text in the app. I know that sounds really weird, and maybe you wouldn't do that in a regular texting environment, but because the messages are getting buried by new messages coming in, it may not be that she didn't even see your message. Or she did see it, but she was busy, and then she got 15 other messages and she forgot to get back to you. So there's no harm for you following up. Follow up 2 times, 3 times, heck, maybe even follow up 4 times. All right. And there's no penalty for that. There's no reason to not do that. Okay. It's not like if you're not getting a response and then you follow up that you would have gotten a response. There's just no, you should always do moves that have no negative consequences for them, right? But that have a potential upside. No downside, lots of upside. All right. So don't worry, just follow up. All right. 14. You're being sexual on the app. Don't do this. Do not start talking about spanking and whatever it is, or what you're going to do to her. Think of it this way, right? She might be into it. She might even text back and forth, and You have this little sexting session on an app, but is she really going to want to meet up with you at that point? Right? I mean, you would think that she would. No, because now there's a lot of pressure. Okay. Now she's like, I don't know how this guy's going to respond. Maybe he's going to like just try and tear off my clothes or, whatever. It's going to create a lot of problems. So just don't. All right. And even if she starts doing it, just say, let's talk about this more when we meet up for a drink or something like that. Don't get into that. You don't want to do that. It's not what you're looking for. Go meet in person. Don't do that. And you may even just be giving her what she want. Maybe she's just like, oh, I just want some guy to just tell me sexual things online. And that's all she's interested in doing. Don't be that guy. Okay. Meet up in person. Don't get sexual online. Just bad idea. Number 15, you're messaging at the wrong time. Okay. So here's another thing to think about. Again, with the inbox, with the flood of messages, when you get a message, right? If that person is online, they'll see it as a notification as opposed to it being in their inbox. And so you want to, because of that problem that, most people don't have notifications on their dating apps. It would be kind of silly, right? They don't want like pop-ups coming up while they're at dinner or whatever with their friends. All right. So if you see that she's active because she's just texted you or messaged you or matched with you, then that's when you want to message back and forth and get everything set up. You don't want, otherwise this could go over days and weeks and you could try to get back to each other and then she probably won't. And then, so you need to be messaging at the right time. That's when the best time, when people are on and active in the app. That's what makes the most sense. All right. And you need to respond immediately. Don't play this game where you're like, oh, how long should I wait? You should not wait at all because you're going to lose it if you wait. So number 16, you're believing what her bio says. Bios are not true. All right. For the most part, girls put in there, not looking for hookups. A lot of times they are. All right, girls put in there, whatever they put in there, it may not be true. So don't just look at the bio. There's going to be screening and filtering stuff. Just don't assume that what the bio says is true. I'm not saying that it's never true. I'm not saying that those things aren't true. But, and maybe like the intention is to not be looking for hookups or not looking for whatever. But then you meet her and something different happens, right? So don't just assume based on a bio anything about a person. You can make up a bio. You can completely lie in a bio, right? No one can prove that your bio's false. So your best assumption is just to ignore the bio, maybe use some of the information in there, but take it with a grain of salt. All right. Number 17, you aren't reading the signs correctly. What does this mean? It just means this. Simply, you're not judging the situation correctly based on the information that you have. So, for example, if you're on a dating app and the girl that you're talking to, your match with, is not from this, she's visiting or traveling, you can go very quickly to asking for a date that very night, right? Because you don't want to set something up for a week later, a couple days later. Like she's probably ready. She's probably on that app for the purpose of trying to find someone tonight. That's probably what she's doing. She's probably going to do that. Okay. Whereas a girl that's maybe local might be looking for something later on, like saying, how about tonight? And jumping really fast to the number, to the date might not be the right choice. Also, how is she responding to you? Right? If she's giving you one-word answers or little sentences that are short, that's indicating not as much interest. So maybe you need to go back and forth a little bit. All right. Or maybe, based on the way that she's saying things, she's really interested and you don't need to waste any time. Just get the phone number. Right? You have to feel it out and respond differently based on what the situation is. So you got to be able to read those signs. All right. Number 18, you are being catfished. Again, guard against this. Think about it. Don't just assume that the pictures are real and authentic. And, we talked about screening properly, but just make sure that, think about that, the fact that you could be catfished. You could be. All right. So if it looks like it might be the case that it's catfish, verify that's not. Okay. Even ask her to prove it. That's fine. You have to be smart enough. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time. 19 is you're going for dinner instead of drinks. Don't do this. It doesn't make any sense. Just go for a drink and meet a person first. Again, coming back to the last one, number 18 of being catfished. This is why you're getting catfished a lot of times. And also you want to not, there's plenty of girls, not saying all of them, but certainly plenty of girls that would just use a dating app just to get free dinners from guys. Okay. And they'll be pushing that narrative. Don't just say, okay, let's go have a drink, and meet up and have a drink. And you buy the drink if you invite someone for a drink. That's pretty standard protocol. All right. I know a lot of guys are like, no, you just buy a drink if you invite a girl for a drink. That's just plain and simple. All right. Number 20, you're being cheap. All right. What I mean by this is most of those apps have some kind of premium feature. You don't necessarily have to upgrade to the max, but it's pretty damn cheap. If you're looking to get your best results, why would you not use whatever their feature is? I know that's what they're doing to make money. Surprise, the world revolves around making money. And you know what? If you pay for the better feature, you're going to get better options. It's worth doing that. Why would you not increase your odds as much as possible? Don't be cheap. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to spend a gazillion dollars, but probably to pay for like whatever upgrade on a dating app is less than paying for one date. So use your brain. Don't be one of those people that just penny wise and pound foolish. All right. The last one I have here, number 21. And before I give you this one, again, let me just remind you that in the Bulldog Mindset membership, I'm going to put like all this stuff together and start giving you guys more step-by-step, showing you how to do a lot of these things and really end-to-end, because I feel like that's what's needed. The number 21 is you aren't testing enough. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, you're not testing everything. Okay. There's no reason why you need to create one profile and one dating app, set of pictures and stuff, and have it in your location. You can turn on travel mode and try it in a different location and see how it responds. You can test out your texts. You can text out your messages, your pictures. You can test all of that stuff and see what is going to give you the best response in practice. All right. Do that just so you can figure out what's working or not, right? Because you're not going to get good at this. You're not going to have a feel for what's going to work unless you're actually doing testing. So do enough testing to know what's going to work for you.